The outdoors summer. Basically, everybody's enjoying the outdoors, and obviously, the last few weeks we've been blessed with good weather. We have to be wary at the same time. And what I mean by wary, there's a lot more people cycling, for example. Particularly a lot of young people, and it's great to see. It's great to see young people out exercising, being out in the fresh. It's very good for them mental health, and I'm not going to lie, it's good exercise too for them. Being out of the house, it's great. It's really great to see. But I'm always concerned when I see young people not wearing a helmet. I must be honest with you, because it can happen. Things accidents can happen in an instant. It doesn't even take a second. It can happen in an instant, and you won't know what hit you. And that's the unfortunate thing. We just don't know. It could be the most safest road in the country. It could be on the footpath. You could be on in the most pedestrian side, and the car could randomly come down. Again, life's unpredictable. So I say to parents, particularly parents, and even to older people, to have a helmet. Again, you can get a good helmet for €15. And I know some people might, it might be a bit pricey. Some helmets might be a bit pricey, but there's good discounts in helmets. And it is a good feature to have because again, your one most crucial part of your body is your brain. Your brain controls your hands. It controls my movement on my hands. It controls my legs. If you damage your brain, it's fair to say, you could be brain dead and you won't be able to use your brain. You won't be able to basically be paralyzed, in other words. Again, you could hold your arm, you could hold your leg. You could recover. You could recover. If you lose your arm, you lose your leg. You can get an animatronic arm or an animatronic leg. But you can't get another head, and you can't get another brain. So I'm just saying to people, and again, I don't want to take the fun out of things, but again, you have to be safe too at the same time because I did see a few people cycling along the bypass too, and they were young kids, 16, thereabouts. You would be concerned. Again, you would be concerned that something could happen to them, because it often happened to me, but I always wore a helmet when I was cycling. It can happen easy. Like one time I was going over a stone, take for example, cycling, and a bike flipped to hit the stone, flipped the tire up, and so I went flying over the handlebar. But lucky I had my helmet on. I got a few cuts on my arm. Again, it was okay, thankfully. But I didn't have my helmet on, I probably would have banged my head against the ground. I probably would have bled to death, and that's possible. You could bleed to death because again, if you hit your head, again, it's good sign if you're bleeding outside. If your head's bleeding outside, it's bad sign if you're not bleeding. Because the one thing that you can't see, and I would advise anybody gets a big bang to the head, please go to the hospital. Because internal bleeding it can happen, and people don't know that. That's something that can happen too. And obviously, just say to people again, I don't want to take the fun out of it, but again, that's something that will save your life, and believe me, it is worth investment, especially if you have children. It's very much worth the investment, because it is a very crucial part of the body, your head, your brain. So just advise parents that and things, and obviously with swimming too, just regards to swimming. And there's a lot more people swimming, and it's great to see. It's great to see again. Swimming's a good exercise, good healthy exercise, and being in the nice water. Down in the lake here near Baltobert here. A lot of people go swimming. It's very safe. There's life preservers and things like that. But things can happen, as I say, accidents can happen. People can take a heart attack, as we've seen with the Denmark player taking a heart attack, and it could happen in the water. And again, it's about just being safe too, and making sure they're just swimming in a nice area, not swimming in a danger area which is very deep, and it's safe you can't swim. Don't be going into dangerous areas unaccompanied or anything like that. And to please tell anybody where you're going if you're going swimming, just in case, God forbid, something happens. And make sure there's a life preserver or anything like that around. Because it has saved many lives, and that's the thing. And again, I just say to people, even if you need a life jacket, even if you want to bring a life jacket and swim, or a life preserver, it's again anything like that. Again, it's being safe. It's taking the extra precautions because people have drowned, unfortunately. Even in lakes, even the river or anything like that could be extremely dangerous because again, some parts of the river, some parts of lakes, you don't know how deep it is. There could be a very big deep end of the river, and some could be very shallow. And again, with the shallow things too, I would say when people are diving in, and I know I see myself, people diving in very shallow water, and obviously could bang your head, hit your hand, or whatever. You could break a bone by jumping into the stones. Majority of it's stones in the bottom of the lakes, or rocks. So again, be safe. It's just about being safe, and that's really the thing. Just being safe and being careful out there, because there's a lot of dangers out there in this world, and it's unfortunate. And we have no control. And that's the simple that we can take precautions in keeping ourselves safe, but again, the man above is the man that has to say. and the man that will decide the fate of us if and decide when we go and when we can't go. I know that sounds very dark, but that's really the way it is. But again, there's always taking the precautions, to make yourself a small bit safer. Because it's well worth this. It's well worth the money. In making sure you're kept safe, or keeping your family safe. So yeah, just to say, I hope everybody does enjoy the summer again. The good weather is here, and it's good to see. I know it's been a few bad days with the weather, but yeah, hopefully the weather will pick up, and hopefully everybody will be able to enjoy the summer. Go for nice walks. Again, if you're walking, there's not really much need to wear reflective jackets or anything like that, especially in the good evenings. If it's night time, obviously it's around 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock at night. I would advise you to wear some kind of reflector, even if it's an armband or something like that, just so cars can see you. Because don't assume, again, this guard told me what's actually sorry, it was a guard in the Road Safety Authority. It's an officer in the Road Safety Authority, sorry, my apologies for that. But he said don't assume that the driver can see you. Make sure that the driver can see you. Just don't assume, because people have so much things in their mind. This is just for outside, and this is for going into the winter time too. People have hundreds of things in their mind. Like, take for example, I know a woman that has 3 kids, and she's putting through college, she's paying a mortgage back on her house. That's difficult. She has to think about where the money's going to come for this and what could happen, and to pay back the way. Again, she's thinking about all this. She's worrying about them at the same time because they're away from her, and she doesn't know what could happen to them. And you always, when a parent, that's what you think about. And you could take your mind off for a split second, God forbid, and you could hit somebody. And again, make sure the car can see you. Especially if something's bright, something's very, very bright. It takes the mind. The mind really focuses on something bright, and compared to a dark evening, it doesn't wedge dark. It wedges us darkness. But when it sees extreme light, like take for example Hive is, the mind instantly sees that, and instantly recognizes that. So yeah, so please be safe out there. Again, do be safe, and that's all I say, because because it's unfortunate that so many people drowned every year, and so many people get injured on bikes. Even, and like, again, motorcycles the same. Please wear a helmet. I see often people don't wear a helmet on motorcycles, and again, it's for your own safety. It's not that I'm here say preaching laws or anything like that. It's for your own safety, and I hate to hear anybody dying, and because again, precautions can be taken to save lives, and that's the thing. That's the crucial thing that we need to get out there. The precautions are there, and to limit the risk of being seriously hurt or killed. Anyway, thank you and be safe.